If your income increases, will you have the discipline to leave it alone and leave the extra to grow? Or would you spend more and experience lifestyle creep, which is affecting a lot of people, including me? Now I'm making more money. It depends what you want more. If you want a fine balance of enjoying life now, but also still planning for the future, that's a great option because you can still do best of both. Depends how much income you're making per year. So I'm going to help you get a clear head today on Think Token. Subscribe below if you want more content like this. Let's get into it. Now, I make a lot more money than I have before. Everything has been a warehouse job for £1.5 max a month, and that's it. I've never had more than that. And then these months there's thousands and thousands coming in. That's due to my full-time job at car sales, tons of commission in that. Also, after I go straight to personal training, because I'm a personal trainer as well. So I'll do that with my clients, self-employed. And then I've got a YouTube channel that generates a little bit of income, an Etsy business that does it. And I'm also putting money each month into the stock market. 10% of my income goes into there each month, which is what are the topics actually that we could talk about. So making more money comes with a lot more responsibilities, and people lose it pretty fast because they don't feel like they deserve it in some way. My first thoughts was, oh, I could get a mortgage soon. I could get a motorbike, which is 15 grand, plus an exhaust that I want. Private plates on my car, I wanted that for a long time. And tattoos. I wanted more tattoos because it's like a huge gap here. I've only got a Scooby tattoo here, and then there's nothing else. So I want more tattoos. I wanted a neck one, but I think I'd get fired if I got that one. Now, I record all my projections on Google Sheets. So every single month it tells me over the year what's going to happen. And last year I spent 18 grand on expenses. Now, most people spend, 50 grand on expenses. Mine's just 18 grand. This year's projected towards 35 instead of 20. So 20 was my max, which is £1,666. Now it's gone up by 15 grand. That's just because of the lifestyle creep that I'm thinking about. If I get a bike, I'll probably get it on finance, just so I've got a bit more cash in the bank. But we can walk through that in a minute. So if you're thinking about increasing your income, changing your jobs, you're running into some money, this is how you slow things down. And I've got a 5-step solution that will help you actually keep more money and help you think a bit more logically rather than just emotional impulse, buy this, buy this. So this is my first tip. It's called the 30-day delay. A lot of people know about this. All it is if you want to buy something like a motorbike for 15 grand, you have to wait 30 days until you can actually buy it, because then all the emotion settles. Like my number plate I wanted it was only 400 quid, but if I waited a bit longer, I would have gone, I don't really need that. I could do with that money in my bank. And that's it. Whereas a motorbike, it's been since I was 17 years old, and I still want one till this day. So I'm 25 now. I'm going to get a motorbike. So after you thought about it clearly for 30 days, you still want it, you can afford it, then you can go ahead and buy it. That's a great tip because it stops all this impulse purchase. So the next step is afford it twice. Now this is a big one, and it'll be hard for most people to do this, especially if you're just getting a warehouse job like I used to be at. You're not going to be able to afford a 15 grand bike twice. That's 30 grand in your account, and let's say you only make 20 grand a year. It's not going to happen. This is where, if we increase our income, we're talking about the lifestyle creep. So if I'm projected at 75k this year, at the end of the year, I could afford this 30 grand bike pretty easy. And you never finance unless you can afford it twice. So if I've got 30k in my bank, I could finance it, if that's an option. The only reason you'd finance is not because you can't afford it, because that's where you end up in poverty, but it's because you want to keep the money in the bank so you can actually spend it on adverts and marketing and anything for your business or whatever. But just try and wait till you can afford it twice before you buy anything. The next step is lock your money away. So with a family member in a restricted ISA, I've done this with an ISA, so you can only take it out 3 times a year. If you take it out more than that, it drops to like 0.7%. And right now it's at 6.5%, which is a decent return because that's guaranteed. Whereas the stock market can fluctuate. Right now, a lot of people have lost thousands of pounds. My colleague's lost 5 grand for his pension. He's lost 5 grand in 24 hours, 7 grand total. And that's just because of what's going on in the world. Whereas if it's in the bank, 6.5% return, you're definitely getting that. So if you lock your money away, let's say you ask your family member, it just creates a barrier from you buying instantly, just to a bit more delayed. And that gives you time to think. And sometimes you just can't be bothered to go and ask someone for the money. So, do it with someone you trust. Don't just do it with a friend because, a bit risky that is. Next one is automate your investments. So before you get a paycheck, your taxes will take out what it needs to, and then you only get what's left. It means you can't even touch the taxable income. Whereas when I was self-employed, I completely forgot on my first year that you have to pay taxes. I don't know why. So it was a bit stupid. I knew you had to pay taxes, but I didn't really pay much attention each month to saving 20%, whereas I should have, because at the end I had nothing to pay. for, and it was thousands of pounds that HMRC wanted. So if you're self-employed, it's different, but if you're employed, that disappears before you can even see it. Now you need to do the same thing with your investments. So set a, doesn't matter how much you make per month, just set 10% each month. Let's say you make £3 a month, 10% of that is 300 quid. You put an automated sequence from Trading 212 or wherever you're with to take out 300 quid in the stock market. Or you can do it manually if you've got the discipline, but it's worth thinking about the risk, because sometimes you go, oh, I can't afford it this month, the bill's a bit tight, and you wouldn't do it. Whereas my discipline is pretty on point, like I keep on putting it in every single month. This month's 10%, so tons of money in the stock market. And the next one is also maybe a hard one for most people, but we can see. So create a 6 months expense buffer. 6 months of expenses. Let's say you spend 20 grand a year, you need 10 grand in your bank account. And that buffer is lovely because you just feel so at ease, and any payments that come out don't feel like they're going to bankrupt you. They just, I've got to pay for my car, it costs £1,000. There you go. Just an inconvenience rather than a disaster. Or at least, if that sounds a bit too scary for you, to save up 10 to 15 grand in your account now, is at least £1,000 buffer. When I was at the warehouse jobs, I got fired quite a few times and I quit quite a lot of times just because I hated it. But I didn't see the options for me back then. Yeah, I never had more than £1,000 in my account. I took pictures of it and I was trying to gain it up. I remember starting at minus £67.50 in my account. Unarranged overdraft, I was broke as hell. I had to ask my mum for money. And then next month I was 800 quid in my account, then 1,000 something. And then it kept going up. And then I joined another place, a warehouse. I was there for a year and a half and I gained up to almost 10 grand. And then I quit for personal training. That kept on depleting, got to 5k, got to 4k. And then I built my PT back up and it started to get a bit better then. But if you have that £1,000 buffer, you feel so safe that nothing's going to affect you emotionally. Whereas you get bad sleep if you don't have that money, because you just wake up and you go, oh, all these transactions have failed, which has happened with some of my mates, you know. It's not nice to feel like that. So at least £1,000 in your account. Saving this money gives you inner peace and your subconscious relaxes. So your subconscious mind is always just trying to pick up little things. And if you've got the ease of having 1 to 10 grand in your account, you're sorted. Even if it's in the stock market, because you can still take that out. You just hope that you're at a positive if you do need to take it out. And I wouldn't try and touch it. I'd just try and save as much as you can, and you can invest later. As long as you've got that safety net, then the investments seem easier to do. That creates a better relationship with money, and that creates more money because you're more aligned with you feeling at peace with money. So you like it, you try to attract it into your life, and that's what's happened with me. It's completely changed my life, and now I can afford things that I never thought I could. I can see what this year is going to be projected at, and hopefully it's the same with you. Just try not to get the lifestyle creep too high, you know. And that's it for this video. Hope it helped. Leave any comments below and subscribe if you want more.